Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. On this auspicious occasion of Buddha Purnima, I offer my salutations to Lord Buddha. We all know that Buddha Purnima is celebrated on the auspicious birth of Lord Buddha. So, in these few minutes, let us try to understand that how Lord Buddha influenced the Hindu thoughts across India. So, let's go back to history for a while. In 563 BC, a boy was born to Queen Mahamaya and King Shuddhodhan in the Indo-Nepal border in a place called as Lumbini Gardens, and this is a Terai region in Indo-Nepal border. Mahamaya delivered the boy while she was going back to her father's residence, and after a week of delivery of the boy, she passed away. The upbringing of the infant was entrusted then upon Queen Prajapati, and the child was named Siddharth. Astrologers predicted that Siddharth would one day either become a great king or an emperor, or he will go on the path of renunciation or an ascetic. Who would actually renounce the world pleasures and show the way to the mankind. Uh, this prediction perturbed King Shuddhodhan, and basically he wanted to keep his son Siddhartha away from all the miseries of life and reasons which could cause renunciation. So he decided to provide a completely protected life of comfort and luxury to his son Siddharth, and the prince was educated within the palace. All arrangements were made for his education. To further involve him in the worldly affairs, he was married young. At a very young age, he was married. And we all know that renunciation, which in Hindi means tyag, is born out of indifference and aversion to worldly things. And the king definitely wanted to keep his son away from this. However, what is not to be shall never be. One day, when the prince wished to move out of the palace and see the world outside the palace, the king arranged for him to visit the best places and bring back happy memories. Despite strict instructions to the charioteer, the prince persuaded him to change the route. And along the way, for the first time, Siddharth saw a sick man, an old man, and a dead man which was proceeding to a funeral procession. Life was never the same again for Prince Siddharth. Shaken to the core by the misery and suffering of the world, what he saw and he witnessed, he decided to renounce the princely life. One night he left home when everybody was asleep in the palace. Siddharth was actually in the quest of truth, and he visited the wise and the learned, the sages, the seers across the geographies and the boundaries, but his questions remained unanswered. Along with five other friends of his, he decided to undertake severe penance, and this went on for 6 years without success. And basically, uh, he had to fast, and he had to basically, the physical hardships were so severe that that his body became emaciated, and he appeared or lived like a skeleton. He started looking like a skeleton. He swooned, and then he realized that fasting and penance were of no use at all. And when a farmer's daughter offered him rice porridge, he accepted it with humility. He ate it, and he came out. And then, with some rest, he felt better. But by this time, his other five friends, they left him. Uh, on sitting by himself, he meditated under a peepal tree, and that tree is still there in Bodh Gaya. On the 29th day, as he sat meditating under the tree, in the evening he experienced a divine light. He suddenly understood the cause of all suffering, and he found answers to his questions. He was enlightened, And now Siddhartha Gautam was our Lord Gautam Buddha, the enlightened one. He proclaimed that there were four eternal truths, although which is difficult to follow in today's Kali Yuga, but it is prudent to mention them time and again to make our Hindu philosophies and philosophies as laid down by him, keeping it live. So, what were those four eternal truths? That there is suffering in life, sufferings arise from attachment to desires. Number three, suffering cease the moment attachment to desires cease. Number four, most prudent, there is a middle path to avoid suffering. Furthermore, he explained that to move to the middle path, there were some essentials, and he defined those eight essentials. So, what were those essentials? That one must be able to see the reality was the first essential, and how true it is that in astrology during your Shani Mahadasha, you experience the real world, the reality. So, see the connect between his teachings and astrology. The second essential was that one's thoughts must be based upon truth and not fiction. And third is that right speech, one's speech must be free from abuse, falsehood, blame, slander, and gossip. The fourth essential, which he said, was